So here we got another certified classic. We have Sonic Adventure 2 initially releasing in 2001. While it initially released for the Dreamcast, it ended up on the GameCube just a year later, and really has gone on to be the most cherished, beloved non-Genesis Sonic game of them all. Like, people absolutely love Adventure 2, and it's not hard to see why. When it comes to this game's story, it's a big ol' epic adventure. There's actually two different stories to play through, the good and evil stories. The good side has Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles trying to save the world, while the evil side has Shadow, Eggman, and Rouge the Bat trying to conquer it. Despite the game's age, I'm not going to spoil anything because all these years later, this really is like the best story that Sonic the Hedgehog has ever had in a video game. It's just a really great tale. There's so many iconic, memorable moments in this storyline. There's so many lines that are just constantly living rent-free in my head all these years later.
So, how did you know it wasn't the real one?
Tails! Because you just told me, Fox Boy.
I'm the coolest.
This game introduced Rouge the Bat and arguably the most popular Sonic character that isn't Sonic himself, Shadow the Hedgehog, and all of his stuff is really great here. This was before everything got overly complex and, well, just kind of stupid. Like, the story, it's really great stuff here. There's a reason it's been low-key created a few times now. Like, it's just so incredibly memorable. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who are like, oh, the voice acting is trash, it hasn't aged well. This was a game from 2001. I think for 2001 it was pretty good and it's decent enough nowadays. But you know what's more than decent enough? Actually playing the game. There's the two story modes, each with 3 playable characters, and all the characters play somewhat different from each other. You have Sonic and Shadow representing the speed stages, you have Tails and Eggman, who are in these big walker stages, and these are more similar to E102 Gamma's gameplay, and then we have Knuckles and Rouge, who have the treasure hunting gameplay from Sonic Adventure 1. I'll briefly go over each gameplay type. When you're playing as Sonic and Shadow, it is very much that 3D Sonic speed-based gameplay that you're very much looking for when you play a 3D Sonic the Hedgehog game. They move at incredibly high speed, they have the spin dash, the light speed dash. You'll be zipping through levels, hitting enemies with the homing attack, doing some platforming challenges, and really just trying to complete the level as fast as possible. Like most Sonic games, a lot of these levels do actually have alternate paths, and you can go about them in a few different ways. It's not as expansive as, say, the later, more modern 3D Sonic games, but there still is a few different paths here and there. And there's plenty of grinding here. It might take a second to get used to the grinding since it does feel a bit old school, but the grinding feels pretty good in this game. The controls in general are actually pretty good. Sonic isn't super sensitive, and neither him or Shadow are incredibly slippery. You're not going to fly all over the place. I feel like even nowadays the controls have actually aged pretty well, much better than Sonic Adventure 1. The levels you go through as Sonic and Shadow are some of the most unforgettable, memorable levels in all of Sonic's history. Neither Sonic or Shadow have a bad level in this game. They are all really great, and it's always a blast to go through these levels. This is easily the highlight of the game, and it's the gameplay style I come back to the most. Then we have Tails and Eggman's gameplay, the walker gameplay. So yeah, this is more like E102 Gamma stages. There's no timer this time, but really you're just walking around blasting everything that moves. You can target multiple things at once and create these large combos, and I think it's totally fine to play as them. I know some people really don't like the walker gameplay, but I've always found it enjoyable. There's a little bit of platforming, shooting everything is always going to be fun, and I think for the most part these levels are well made. I think it's better gameplay than E102 Gamma's, that's for sure. And hey, outside of Mean Bean Machine, I'm pretty sure this is the first time you could actually play as Eggman, and you know what? It's actually fun to play as him. Then we have Knuckles and Rouge, the treasure hunters. You'll be looking for either pieces of the Master Emerald or some other plot-related items, and it plays very similarly to Adventure 1, where it really is just you exploring these more open areas with a radar, and when you get closer and closer to the treasure, the radar goes off and becomes louder and brighter, and eventually you'll find all the pieces and you move on to the next level. You can glide around, you can climb things, and you generally get a good amount of freedom. I will say these levels are much bigger than anything Adventure 1 had. And to be completely honest, to keep things 100-100, I actually kind of prefer the levels of Adventure 1. I like that they were smaller, I like that the radar would tell you if you were near any of the treasure instead of just one at a time, and I think the levels were just a bit more fun to play. Not to say that Knuckles and Rouge have bad levels, I think all of their levels are pretty good. Outside of Mad Space, that level can just fuck off. I hated that level as a kid, and I hate it now. It's like the worst level in the entire game. The controls are all fucky thanks to the gravitational pull, and finding the treasure was just not an enjoyable experience. At least the music is pretty good in it. Speaking of the music in Sonic Adventure 2, ooh, We could be here all day for the music of this game as well. It's fantastic. Like, every single level has a great theme to it. The game is just full of amazing music through and through, and I genuinely still find myself listening to the music even nowadays. Like, it's just kind of goated at this point. Sonic Adventure 2 really is low-key goated at this point. The game has some fantastic levels, it has variety with the 3 different gameplay types, it's got a good length to it, it's got decent pacing, the story's actually really great, the presentation for the time was very good, it controls well, and it's actually aged incredibly well. While I know that not everybody loves the different gameplay styles, I think they're all pretty good, and even at its very worst, you know, when you're playing Mad Space, I think the game is still an incredible experience. Like, it's got exhilarating, fun, varied gameplay, and it really is just one of the best 3D platformers of all time. And then we have the Chow Garden. The Chow Garden is just an amazing addition that has added so much replayability and playtime to this game, at least for me personally, that it's not even funny. I love raising these Chow, I love breeding them and trying to get different ones. The Chow Garden rules, and it really should have been its own game 20 years ago. The game also has a ton of replayability, trying to get the best rank, trying to get all of the emblems. There's multiplayer. The multiplayer is actually really good. There's a few mini games that show up here that are pretty fun. Like, all these years later, the game is still fantastic. I think it's a great experience, and I have no problem recommending it to anybody that likes video games. Even Sonic's most die-hard of haters, I think, can appreciate something about this game.